Thanks very much. A massive thank you to the Development Office for your poor judgment in choosing me to speak this evening. So, whoever among you chose me for a public speaking assignment clearly never went to one of those JCR meetings where President Emma Evans had to step aside and I was thrust into the role of substitute chair, displaying a level of incompetence, beaten only by my abject failure to fulfill my JCR mandate to get pornography for the TV room. I'm also pretty uncomfortable standing up here because I'm having to give the speech standing still rather than running around Oxford like a crazy child. But in all seriousness, thank you. Thank you for the privilege of seeing you all again and for the honour of being able to address you. Now, it struck me when I chatted to some of you earlier that even though this is Oxford Alumni Weekend, none of you talked about coming back to Oxford. You all talked about coming back to Merton. And you will remember one of the questions in JCR Hustings was to describe your candidacy in 3 words. The first being the, and the third being option. So we had the sophisticated option, we had the exotic option, we had for an unopposed candidate, the only option. Although, as Matt Schuler found out, being the only option in an election was no guarantee of success. But all of us here, we chose the Merton option. We chose to spend the 3 most formative years of our adult life here at Merton. Or 4 years for some of the scientists, or 6 or 7 or 8 years for the DPhil students. And I think that there's one of us who's actually still at Merton. Actually, I stand corrected. Henry Brown has finally graduated from here. But we were here at Merton. We were dining in these halls. We were walking through these gardens. And most importantly, we were spending time with these people. And what an incredible option it was. Because you see, the Merton option was actually a menu of options. Because Merton gave us complete freedom to do whatever we wanted to do here. There was no one Merton experience. Indeed, each of us had our own unique experiences which shaped us to be the person we are today. So one of these options was the option to study. And yeah, there were those crazy all-nighters or these days locked in the law library or in labs for the lawyers and scientists among you who actually had to work for your degree. But in return for that, we got to spend a couple of hours each week, 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, with some of the world's leading minds, even though we were aged only 18. I learned economics, not from a cram lecture theatre, but from VJ Joshi's study, drinking his sherry, eating his rough oatcakes, and being enlightened by my tute partner, Ben Garner. So when VJ asked, give me your economic rationale for staying outside the single currency, Ben replied, I just don't like Europeans. He should have gone into politics, clearly. But another option was sport. And we had some women who'd never rowed before Oxford who ended up head of the river, and their photos are still proudly displayed in the boathouse today. And we also had a pale, pasty, skeletal JCR vice president who was transformed through fake tan into being a ballroom dancing powerhouse. Or another option was drama. We had the Merton Floats. Or another option was music. We had the Gaudy Choir or bands like Aphrodisiac. And of course, another option was student government. Whose JCR was it? It was your JCR. But far more than just the degree, or the committee positions, or the extracurricular activities, things that other people will understand, things that we can put as lines on our CV, was just being here and sharing moments that no one else will ever understand and that you'd never want to put on your CV. Just wasting time. But it was time well wasted. Think about all the evenings spent in the college bar. Apparently we did have a college bar here at Merton, not that I ever stepped inside it. Or we could think of as Paul Dixon when he got Kate Winslet to endorse him for JCR president. And then made quite a personal contribution to the Rain Machine for her movie. Or we might remember the Merton Winter Ball with Chesney Hawkes coming down. And the crowd singing I Am the One and Only, regardless of what song Chesney was actually performing. What about the JCR slave auction, where Jim Durham got his nipple pierced, raising £85.71. The treasurer remembers every penny, even to today. Or David Milliken, who was paid to wear handcuffs in future JCR meetings to stop him gesticulating during them. Or Chris Williams, who paid £50 for a massage from Karen McAtamney. Not for himself, but for Ollie Clark. And this is a JCR in which we move to a vote on whether to move to a vote. Or we evaluated the candidacy of Tim Part and Adam Gamson as Entrex by calling them up. Or we asked other candidates, demonstrate your affinity for this position through the medium of modern dance. Or one better, as you know, being JCR treasurer, you have to avoid being in the red. Are you a natural redhead? And can you prove it? And this JCR also noted that Clause 8, Gary Lineker is a footballer and a gentleman. And Clause 9, while such criticisms may indeed be unhelpful, Alzu remains shit and a pile of wank. It was in those times that we learned the most. Yeah, we weren't learning any mathematical formulas or chemical equations or historical facts, but we learned character qualities sorely missing in today's world. The ability to build community, to make fun of ourselves, and to cherish the people around us. And we learned to deal with conflict. What better way to respond to somebody resigning from Merton JCR in protest to us calling Alzu shit and a pile of wank, by then making the same person an honorary member of the JCR. So we stand, or we sit here, 15 years later, having pursued very different paths in lives. Yet we share memories that no one else shares. We reminisce about great times that no one else had. And we laugh at stories that no one else will ever, 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 ever find funny. Because we all chose the Merton option. So let's raise a glass to Merton College.
Merton College.